Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and in this video, we're going to be reviewing the Union STR. I rode this binding at Copper Mountain on a day that was a mix of blue and gray skies, high winds, warmer temps, hot pow, chop, chunder, basically all types of spring conditions, and I rode it on my Ride Shadow Band snowboard with my K2 Thraxis boots. Alright, so let's talk about some adjustability with this binding. You got a push pin system on the toe strap, so push it down, pull it up, you can move it forward or backwards. Then on the heel strap, you also have the set screw to move the heel cup in and out, so that's all as one, as well as housing the high back rotation, so they kind of all work as one there. Then on the straps, you have a set screw for the toe and a flip tab for the heel strap. So basically flip it up, twist it, untwist it, slide it forward, slide it backwards, place it over the instep perfectly. The set screw, you're basically gonna set it and forget it. The high back also has a forward lean adjustment on it. So flip it down, slide it up, slide it down, lock it into place, and you are good to go. This binding features Union's ExoFrame 2.0 heel strap. No padding in there whatsoever. That means you're gonna rely on the boot fully for that. But what's nice about it is it does contour over the instep and really lock you in. This strap did everything that I needed it to do. I was not worried about it. With the toe strap, the cutout is a little bit smaller, and as such, even with a pointy tip boot, it still struggled to just contour over it and lock down. The other thing was that there is a screw that is aggressive for the ratchet. When I tighten this down, I could feel this just pinching into my pinky toe. That never went away as the whole day went on. But for a binding of this price point, I'm not worried about that. It did what it needed to do. I do believe that the toe strap could be a little beefier, could be a little wider, but that's about it. When it comes to the ratchets, they climb well. For the most part, they do release with that one finger quick release. I do think the tab could be a little bit longer, but that's just me. I don't know, I've got tiny little hands here. That's kind of it. I did have the toe cap pop off on me once. I don't attribute that to the binding itself, but more me landing super toe heavy. As I previously said, that ratchet screw right there does dig in a little more aggressively. So if you have sensitive feet, you may feel that, or if you have a really soft boot that will collapse in. Just things to think about with this binding. With the high back, it's kind of a mid-flexing one. You get a little bit of lateral give in it. You got more drive down towards where the forward lean adjustment is. Overall, it's a high back you don't really have to think about. I do like the fact the forward lean is an easy flip tab to just adjust it on the fly if you like forward lean. The overall flex of this binding comes in just below a middle of the road. For having a bigger disc, you still do get a lot of lateral play in this binding. And while I do like the heel strap, there's no padding and no rigidity to it, so you can really push through it. Same thing with the toe strap. It's just a soft binding that you don't get a lot of power out of. You get more play, and that's fine for what it actually is. This isn't an overly damp binding, and one of the weird things about it was that actually the heel pad was more damp than the toe pad on the toe ramp. So anytime I was on my toe edge and shatter, I could feel everything, but if I was on my heel edge, it was a lot more smooth sailing. So if you're a beginner that's gonna be heel heavy, that's great for you. If you're someone that actually knows how to ride, you might feel a little more chatter under your toes. So who's this binding for? Someone that's just starting out that needs a meat and potato binding. At the end of the day, it's a binding. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. You see a lot of trickle down tech from Union in this. One thing that I wish was better was the toe strap. I wish it was a little bit wider. It would fit different boot shapes. I also wish that it didn't have a set screw, but a quick release tab, so that way you can adjust it on the fly. Also, that screw for the ratchet does dig in. I felt it. I'm not saying that you're gonna feel it. The heel is nice and damp. The toe could use a little bit more dampening. One thing that I will say though, is if you're a heavier guy and you were thinking, oh, I'm gonna get the Flight Pros, don't. It's got a mini disc in it. You may rip that out. Go with this one instead. You get that bigger disc. It's going to distribute pressure more evenly and just give you a better ride. Binding recommendations: the Battalion Fly, the Ride C4, the K2 Indy. This has been my review of the Union STR. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Are you going to buy a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of these videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.